bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oh, yeah. What is up? Fade to Black. We're back. It's all good. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, today's Monday, August 15th. 223 days into the new year. And that's wrong. It's 228. Oh, man. 138 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. Yeah, man, today I am seriously your oh-so-humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? What an amazing week we have got lined up on the show. Because tonight we're kicking it off with filmmaker Damon T Berry and his film series, The Forever Time. That's right. Tonight, Damon is here. Tomorrow night, Randy Kramer is here. You asked for it. We finally got it. Randy Kramer is here tomorrow night. And Wednesday night, Chris Medina and David Oman are going to be here. And David's father built a house next to the Roman Polanski house, the famous Manson murders. And they just did a reading over at the house. And that's what we're going to do on Wednesday night. We're going to talk about that. And, man, I got to dial this in here. Hold on for a second. All right, there we go. And that's Wednesday. Thursday night is another Fader night with John Rappaport. And that's our week this week. So it's just going to be one of those great weeks here on the show. And also, before I get to the other details of everything that went on this weekend, and I'm going to talk about all of that, of course. I've been working on the next couple of weeks and the guest. And we have got some stuff coming up. It's, how do you top a week like this or a week like last week? Well, it gets better and better. So there you go. Oh, man. Whew. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. You know what to do. Just go over to our website. Click on the buttons you need to do. All right. Email throughout the show tonight, Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. The sandbox is hashtag F2B in Twitter. We don't bite. And it's good to see all the familiar faces in Twitter. And we just spent the weekend up in Sacramento. I'll get to that in a second. But I didn't tweet on, I virtually didn't, I don't know if I tweeted at all weekend. We were very busy. But I didn't tweet on the show on Friday night, and I felt a little disconnected. And for that, it's just the way that things worked out, and we couldn't do it. But, man, I missed all of you. I missed everybody. Missed the chat room. I didn't go in the chat rooms on the show on Friday, but I'll get to all those details, okay? But we're back, and it feels so good to be with all of you, okay? Now, let's get some stuff out of the way really quick. Of course, CCCP Publishing is our newest sponsor here on Fade to Black. And go and click on the banner now over at Jimmy Church Radio for CCCP Publishing and order Future Esoteric for just $12.97. Very special price for the Fadernauts, and you'll get a second book from CCCP thrown in the box for free. Absolutely for free. All you have to do is use the promo code Jimmy when you order. Simple. Support the show, support our sponsors. There you go. And then you get the knowledge. And Life Change Tea. Life Change Tea, I'm telling you right now, got us through the weekend. It did. We arrived there Thursday morning, and we left this morning. Okay. We flew in today. More on that in just a second. But the only thing that got us through it, Life Change Tea. So go to getthetea.com right now. Go to jimmychurchradio.com. Click on the banner. That's all you have to do. Use Jimmy when you order, either online or over the phone, and you're going to get free shipping on your order. Life Change Tea. Also, Studio Dome. Oh, man. Studio Dome got us through the weekend, too, as well. And more on that in just a bit. And their Fadernaut special, which is a true wireless stereo, hi-fi, Bluetooth wireless stereo system in a hardshell case. All the power cables that you need. Just use the promo code JCRTWS. You get it for $129. And you get free shipping on your order. That's all you got to do. All right? Let's get this show cracking. Feels so good to be back in the chair. And in the windowless bunker. Happy birthday today to Ben Affleck. He's 44. And he will always make the cut because of Dogma. Anthony Anderson today is 46. And just like Dogma, anybody in barbershop will always make the birthday list. Happy birthday, Anthony Anderson. And also, you remember the band The, right? The frontman, Matt Johnson, today is 55. On this day in history, and it is a big one. Yeah, especially for us. 1969, the Woodstock Festival opens and the world was changed forever. I'll tell you something about Woodstock. When I was a kid down in Panama, and I'm sure Ricky Royo is listening to the show right now. And he was with us also. I'll get to that. Anyway, down in Panama, I had a friend. His name was Alan Shaw. And he loved Woodstock. And I think it came through and played the movie theaters there. And I went and saw it. And I just didn't think it was that good. I didn't. And now I watch it all the time, and the magic happened that day. It's funny how when you're a kid, you think you know it all, and you're just a complete doofus. But 1969, Woodstock opened. A Fader fact for you. Are you ready? It's a cool one, too. 10 trillionths of your suntan comes from the light of other galaxies. And that is a Fader fact. Tonight, very special guest, filmmaker Damon T Berry is here. We're going to talk about his film series, The Forever Time. It is amazing. I talked about it last week, and I'm sure for the rest of the week, everybody here will be checking out his documentary film series, but it's amazing. Tomorrow night, Randy Kramer is here. Wednesday night, Chris Medina and David Oman. Thursday night, another Fader night with John Rappaport. And with that, I'm going to talk a little bit about what went down this weekend. It was very special. I'm going to say this out of the gate. We had the Fadernaut family was there in force, and everybody got put to work. and volunteered and put in so much sweat. I cannot get enough thanks out there. And we had, check this out, DJ Ray Train showed up, busted his tail all weekend. Carrie, the Egyptian princess, flew in from New Jersey and got put on the volunteer list. Sebastian was there. Idea Petri Dish, Steve. Ooh, did I just slip up? Idea Petri Dish was there, and absolutely just busted his tail. Michael was serving food. David Cruz was there with his wife. Cindy and Tori from North Carolina, the ticket winners, were there in force. Two of the coolest people I've ever met. Karen, Karen, we love you so much. And I just have to say, Karen went way, way above and beyond the call of duty. And she was there with us all weekend long. Sandy, John from iHeartRadio from Sacramento showed up, and it was just an amazing weekend. I'm looking here. Caroline, Sandy, Michael and DJ Ray Train. I just can't thank all of you enough. It was just amazing. And then, of course, Nurse Nancy. And Nurse Nancy, Nurse Nancy and Rita and Karen, well, everybody really, but survived on 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night. And we were up first thing at the crack of dawn every single day. And this is the reason why I'm bringing all of this up, is because last night at the big after party, because we had a party every single night, but last night, we all got together, all of the presenters, the speakers, all of the Fadernauts, and we got together with Javier and Patrick, who put on the event. And again, unbelievable, the amount of work. But we got to kick back last night and look around the room and go, we did the most amazing expo. But all of us did this together. All of the presenters were working. I was the AV guy from dusk until dawn every single day. And all of us did just that. And it was so satisfying in the end, where we were just sitting there and looking around. And we ended up doing this impromptu award ceremony last night, and just looking around going, we did this together. We didn't have a staff. Well, we did, but what I mean is it was about us. And it was the most rewarding, satisfying weekend that I've had in a long time. And I was so tired, but we just kept going. And it was so much fun. And to see everybody that was attending the expo and how much fun that they had, and that their comments, So last night we went till 2 a.m. The conference ended, at 8, 9 o'clock. We went until 2 a.m. and had to get up at 6 and get to the airport and get on a plane and get back here to LA at around 10 a.m. And so here I am running on no sleep. Continuing what we started last Thursday morning. Last Thursday, Wednesday night, we ended the show here at 10 p.m. Then we had to get ready to go. We were up at 4 a.m. to fly to Sacramento, and we have not stopped. And there you go. So here I am tonight. We made it back. Everything is good. We're broadcasting, the lights are on, and it's all good. But seriously, thank you so much. Now, I want to go back. A couple of people that showed up. One was Anthony Sanchez, and he was there Friday night. I've never met Anthony. Very, very cool guy, great researcher. I love what he does. But he was there, for the broadcast on Friday night, intimidating me, sitting in the front row, sweating me, and just what a cool guy. But also throughout everything, because Len Casson was there, and of course Patty Greer, and I got to thank Brad Olson for everything that he did too as well, and all of the presenters. Victor Bleepin Camacho, one of the coolest men in this industry, hanging out with him all weekend. But then there was Ruben Uriarte, and I've met him before, but being able to hang out with him this weekend and talk was just a very, very special thing. So Ruben and Anthony, I can't wait to get both of you on the show. But hanging out with you guys and talking shop like we did was just, for me, very, very cool. So anyway, this is what I want to get out of the way. And when you listened to the show on Friday night and saw us posting these pictures, remember this. We, all day Friday, got set up and trying to make sure that the show happened. And boom, 7 p.m., room is full, packed, and it went off flawlessly. And it only went off flawlessly because of all of the Fadernauts and the people there that put this thing together. And it actually happened, started and ended on time, and we needed to not fade to black. Everybody there, just get that first event, get it done, make sure it happens, and that the attendees, had a great time. And once 10 p.m. rolled around, we looked around and we were like, we could do that, and we did. And there you go. Then Saturday started, and we just continued to roll through. The food, the drink, the people, the atmosphere. It was just a magical moment. And I know that in the future, and this is the truth, and it happens after every time we get together. And this weekend was special, but I know that no matter what, with the Awareness Life Expo and where it goes from here, in the future, we're always going to look back to this specific show and look around and go, man, that was the weekend that we'll never forget. And this morning, Rita and I were very sad to leave Sacramento. The people up there are great. Everybody at the Crown Plaza, by the way, really treated us right, and they were really, really gracious. And there you go. Okay, now, and then the Sacramento Bee, the big newspaper in town up there, was at the expo yesterday, and this is where I'm going with all of this. They were there to cover the expo, and the article is up. Can somebody post the article for me in Twitter so it gets out there so everybody knows what I'm talking about? So the Sacramento Bee shows up. But do you remember back at the New Living Expo, we met a lady named Marie Rhodes. And Marie is a huge fan of the show. And I don't know how old Marie is, but she's old enough to have had quite a few life experiences. And we met her at the New Living Expo, and she was the one that I introduced to Nassim Haramein. She wanted to talk to Nassim, and I went up and interrupted. And her and Nassim talked for about a half an hour. It was a really cool experience. Well, so we're there at Awareness Life, and who walks up but Marie Rhodes, right? So we deck her out. She gets her fade to black hat, and she gets one of the new fade to black T-shirts, but she got it in red. She wanted red, so she got her red shirt. And I'm sitting there with the reporter from the Sacramento Bee and the photographer, and we're doing our thing and an interview, and Marie walks up and is standing next to me during this interview, and the reporter looks over at her and she goes, "Can I help you?" And she goes, I'm Jimmy's biggest fan. And the reporter, Ellen, stopped the interview and said, Jimmy, we're done because I want to talk to her. I was like, I'm fine. I love this. So I got up and Marie sat down with Ellen from the Sacramento Bee, and they talked for like a half an hour. And it was like the coolest thing ever. You know, and there were a lot of highlights over the weekend, but that moment with Marie and a reporter was magic. And that's what we do all of this for. So go and read the article at the Sacramento Bee, because it's not about Fade to Black. It's not even about the Awareness Life Expo. And Patty Greer's featured, you know, and thing. But no, it's about Marie Rhodes and this Fade or Not family. It was a magical moment, and it made everything worth it. So there you go. The panel that we did on Saturday night was really, really cool. And I had a lot of great feedback. I think we all did from the panel, but all of the presentations that went down in both rooms were great. And it was fantastic. And yesterday we finally got to release a little bit of tension. We had a great mixer, by the way, Saturday night after the panel, which was also fantastic. And being able to look around at this amazing family of ours and everybody just being able to relax and stuff each night was just really, really cool. We ran on no sleep, but we got it done, and it was so much fun. So there you go. There are, let's see here. I'm looking. I want to retweet here it is. Thank you. Oh, Holly's in the house tonight. Holly Cook and her, okay. This is later on in the notes, but since I've just seen Holly here, Holly's husband, Mark Walsh. I was going to save this for later. I'm going to do it now. So, Holly and her husband, you know, who were amazing all weekend, but Friday night, I made this deal with Rita. I was like, you know, at the end of the show, I got to get Holly's husband, Mark, on. And we just surprised him and pulled him up and got him on. And I want to thank Mark for allowing me to do that. And I think he was yes. And so there was a couple of other things that happened. But Mark, thank you for sitting down with me. And I know I took you by surprise, but that was the intention. So then Richard Dolan and I are walking around, and we were planning on going into Holly Cook's workshop. We were going to crash it and go and check it out. And Richard and I were outside, and we just got wrapped up in this conversation. We lost track of time, which we didn't know about. So we walk in, and we walk into Holly's workshop, and it's pitch black in the room. All the lights off and burning sage. And I was like, what's going on in here? So Richard and I sit down, and it was over. We missed it because we were goofing around outside for like 45 minutes. But the lights came on, and I'm looking around, and Rita is there. And the vibe and the emotion in this room, I'm like, what was going on? And they did Holly did a DNA clearing session, and she did it with Rita, and wow, I couldn't believe the vibe in this room. Holly, you are magical. It was so intense, and I'll leave you with this. So we hook up with Brett Luter, a friend of Brett Luter. His name is Sid Rice. I'm not going to use that's his name that he writes with. And he comes out with his books that he has written. And these are a limited printing book that you can't purchase. Looks like a set of encyclopedias. That's exactly what it looks like, hardcover, big, with the history of everything. I'm not joking. Starts off 4.5 billion years ago, and it's a chronological, linear accounting of everything, right? And I have never been astounded. I've never been that speechless with a book like this, in ever. And you know me, 4.5 billion years. This is what I talk about. And he starts right there, and I'm going. I have no idea how many pages, how many volumes of the books. It's stupid. It's a ridiculous amount of work. But and I got to sit and experience that. And if he's listening now, Sid, I couldn't stop talking to Sid. Once I started reading the books, I just could not get enough of this man. And hopefully one day I'll get him on Fade to Black and I'll talk him into it. But just an absolute extraordinary amount of work. Oh, Rita just said 40 volumes. I'm not kidding. The first volume that I held went from 4.5 billion years, the beginning of Earth, I think, to 900 BC. Yeah, it was like 2 inches thick. Absolutely amazing. So, Sid, thank you so much. Met so many new friends, too, as well. It was just extraordinary. So, with that, 999 BC, is that what it is? Okay. Just amazing. So, thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, IPD. Thank you, Michael. Dave Cruz, of course, Cindy and Tori. Just thank you so much. Carrie, Sebastian, Nancy. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Javier. And I know I'm forgetting names, and I'll remember as the show goes on tonight. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight is Damon T Berry. We're going to talk about his new documentary series. Tomorrow night is Randy Kramer. Wednesday night is David Oman and Oman. And Chris Medina. Thursday night is another Fader night with John Rappaport. With that, I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. I'm going to get out of here for a quick short break. When I come back, we'll be joined with Damon T Berry. I'll be right back. All right, Damon, stay right there.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. Doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil 3-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444, or go check out their website, www.ntexperts.com. nattaxexperts.com. That's nattaxexperts.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Hi, folks. Ronnie here reminding you that June is Health Awareness Month, sponsored by GetTheTea.com. Many of you have heard our tea commercial, maybe visited the website, but haven't committed because, well, you just don't know. Skeptical. We understand. Just to remind you, our tea is not just tea. In fact, very little tea. Life Change Tea is a unique blend of 8 different herbs, removing intruders that attack your health. You brew our tea to make the concentrate, you add water, and put in the fridge. 2 8-ounce glasses a day, and life will be good. Visit us at GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. And this month is lots of fun stuff with Health Awareness Month. You could be picked and receive your order absolutely free. You never know. Read the testimonies and try our products. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. And for great health tips, visit my YouTube channel at Health Matters Now, where you can learn about health tips and how products work on your body. Join me, GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletzky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fade or Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is truly bespoke radio for the masses. Follow me on Twitter right now at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Just make it good, and the producers will send it in here, and maybe I'll read it on the air. And if you're really lucky, I'll write back. Then you can frame it and put it on the wall. It's going to happen like twice a year. Yeah, let's do this. Damon T Berry is an American film director, screenwriter, and producer, best known for writing and directing The Knowledge of the Forever Time. It is a documentary film series that has completely rewritten the history of mankind, and it explores and reveals ancient knowledge in a way that no one has ever done before. Damon began his professional career as a radio broadcaster, and his voice became a trademark, and he became one of the most sought-after voices in the business. Berry then accepted a position with the Walt Disney Company, where he would learn the art of script writing and movie making. While visiting the ancient pyramids in Egypt, he experienced a powerful transformation of psyche and self, and this experience was so life-altering that he returned to the United States and began writing. He created an amazing film series that never leaves you with questions, and instead, it leaves you with unforgiving answers. I've watched them all, and you need to too. There are no questions of why or how can this be, but instead, it's answers. Each episode is called an invitation, as each episode is an invitation to a new age of man, a new age of earth, and the age of enlightenment. And I've got to tell you, I'm excited to finally welcome filmmaker Damon T Berry. Damon, welcome, my friend.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. I appreciate it. Love your show, too.
Hey! This is mutual mad bro love, but let's try to stay objective tonight. Okay, we'll leave that for another time. But welcome to the show, and you get the first time guest disclaimer. So let's get that out of the way first. This is just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends. We start where we start, we end where we end, but we'll end as friends. Are you ready to go?
Ready to go.
Now, I'm a little intimidated, when I get on a fellow broadcaster and all of that stuff, because, my whole shtick is smoke and mirrors. So don't reveal Don't reveal to the audience my doofusness, okay? Let's actually start there. So I need to go. I want to kind of throw the softball question out there, but for you it's very important because where you are now in life and these documentaries and this knowledge that you've put together, I do find extraordinary, and I find it different, and I find it challenging. But that's where you are now. You did do that epiphany and everything, and we're going to discuss that. But we need to back way up. What was your childhood like? Because was your family because you are in a crazy position right now, and I am sure that this isn't what you guys did at the Thanksgiving table growing up, right? talking
You're
about
exactly right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
So tell me about
go
that.
Ahead.
Yeah. Tell me about that. What was it like?
It wasn't a great leap and change in how I grew in my family. My father was a serviceman, was an Army guy, so we moved around every 3 years I can remember being alive. We moved from country to country, city to city, so spent a lot of time in Europe, lived in Germany for a number of years, and got to travel and see the world and experience the world in a different way. Came back to the United States, still growing up, moving around a lot. So the one thing that you learn growing up where you're always moving and you're always changing new friends and always finding new experiences, it opens your mind to accept that there are differences in people, differences in nations, and differences in philosophies and ideas. And it allows you to open your mind to interpret and to understand that which you probably wouldn't be exposed to if you weren't traveling. Having said that, it wasn't until I went to Egypt, that everything changed. And of course, when you come back and tell everybody your story of what happened, nobody believes you. But the minute you start putting it down into paper and they start understanding what you're seeing, then they finally realize, yes, there was something transformative that happened to you. And it is only then that they begin to accept that, yes, there's a possibility that what you're saying is true.
I did the same thing. My father was in the service. He was in the Army band. And we did the same thing, every 3 years, packing it in and going somewhere else and experiencing that. And I totally appreciate where you're coming from because it allows you, well, one thing is if you don't like yourself, 3 years later, you can go to a new city and put on a new set of clothes and be a new guy.
You're exactly right.
And it allows you to also have the ability to make friends and discover people, and you that's a talent that you acquire, and it's forced on you. But that's also the gift of the interview, the gift of conversation, is something that you have to acclimate yourself to. Did you find that happening to yourself too, as well?
That is so true. You said it better than I could. You're exactly right. Because we moved around, believe it or not, everyone in my family is a broadcaster. Every single one. I have 5 brothers and sisters, and they're all either radio on-air personalities, radio executives, radio production people, but we all got into radio because of just exactly what you said. When you grow up and you're always going to a new school, you're always meeting new people, you learn to, exactly how you said, to interview people or meet people or explain your situation, learn where they come from, learn their ideas, and unconsciously it becomes a part of who you are. And radio is the perfect fit for that because you're always meeting new people, you're always discovering new things, and it opens your mind to new voices. So you hit it right on the head.
Now, one of the things that I find interesting about your film series is that the amount of research that has to have been done for this, I can't imagine, because this is what I do for a living too, and it is complete and it's comprehensive, but it must have been a lifetime of work, because you don't go to Lost Civilizations 101 and learn all of that stuff in a couple of weeks. How did you acquire the knowledge. We'll get to the theories in a second, but that is a volume of stuff.
Well, back in the day, to research a film or to create something took tons and tons of hours because just finding the information is always hard. Today, it's not as hard as it used to be. Today, it's literally at your fingertips. You can really, in the comfort of your home, study pretty much anything you want. And because it's so easily available now, and a lot of that we're presenting in the Knowledge of Forever Time, the framework of it is everything that's already in the public domain. It's knowledge that has been around for 100 years. How high is the pyramid? How many meters long is it? How many pyramid inches is it? This knowledge has been around for hundreds, if not 1,000 years, that everyone has already known this. So a lot of it is based on just in the public domain information. So we take that public domain information and then we begin building on it to show you another side of the story. So if we're telling you, hey, the pyramid it's showing is 365.25 cubic inches from one end to the end, and then the circumference is 362.5 circumference, then we begin to make the association to the sun. Once we're able to make the association to the sun, then we can be able to tell an entirely new story that reveals another side or purpose of the pyramid. So you really start with a framework of what we already know about this knowledge, and then we build on it by opening why it's there. What's the purpose? Why did they create it this way? And that creates the framework for the show, which then moves us in an entirely new direction of knowledge. So that's basically how we do it. Now, each episode takes probably about 5 months to put together with just information. It takes another month, 2 months just to do the production, but we can get it done pretty fast. We have 5 other people on our staff that we work with, so everybody has a duty to come up with this part of the information, and then we create it.
Okay. I've got 2 questions for me. These are personal. Okay. Have you had other researchers out there contact you and go, either you're spot on, I'm enjoying this, or dude, you're way out there,
I get both. The Knowledge of the Forever Time is a series that we make free, available to the public. It is on YouTube, so if you want to see it, it's for free. Now, we do have paid services, of course, Roku, Vimeo, iTunes, if you want to see it on television. Most of them are carried by UFO TV. It's a network that carries the Knowledge of the Forever Time. Mm-hmm. But we get generally people who love it, people who hate it, and the reason people hate it is because it's so different from what they've ever heard. And that's one of the saddest parts about our society now, is that it can't be credible unless 5 other people thought of it first. It can't be real unless 5 other people have seen it first. So the part of the story where people say, hey, this is fiction, we always say, tell me which part is fiction.
Right.
And then they can't say anything. So then once you can produce the facts showing that this is a real action, that this is real knowledge, then the arguments just fade away.
And the other question that's just for me, just indulge me, they are so easy and I just want to say this correctly, aesthetically correct. I mean, they are just well done. Where does that vision come from, the artistic side? Because slick is the wrong word, but it is slick. It's modern in its production, but that's also the wrong word. It is just really appealing eye candy. Where does that come from?
Well, the one thing, like you, I'm pretty sure you do this, when you're a broadcaster, you not only learn how to broadcast, you learn how to create production, and you know how to create commercials. And once you understand the framework of, like, for example, you're selling a product in a commercial. The commercial is 60 seconds. You've got to figure out a way to create a commercial that's compelling enough for someone to sit in a vehicle or at their home and say, you know what, I want to try that product. So you've got to be able to create something that can get the customer to like that product. So it's the same thing with filmmaking. With filmmaking, especially when you're creating a documentary, you've got more than 60 seconds, which gives you a lot of time to create something that tells the story, achieves the point that you want it to achieve, opens the mind's eye, and then at the same time you want it to be visually stimulating. And the thing that I like is I like a theatrical look. I like it to look like a major motion picture.
Cinematic.
Cinematic. Thank
Yes.
you. Cinematic. So that's what we're really going for. We're on YouTube and all these other formats to give people a chance to see it for free. Now, of course, we're looking for representation to get it in the theaters, but that's where we are right now. So we wanted to make it look as appealing to the eye as possible and yet be full of information at the same time.
Have you ever seen anything, actually, when you were young, did you ever see anything strange in the sky before you were an adult?
Never.
Never. How about...
I was never one of those people. Never got lucky enough for it to happen.
Same here. You and I are... Okay, I got to stop that frame of thought. What about as an adult?
It really wasn't until I went to Egypt that everything literally changed. I mean, it was truly a transformative event that happened in my life, and just to outline it, I mean, I went to Egypt. A guy's taking me to see the pyramids. I got my own tour guide. He's showing me everything. I didn't go on the bus where it's the mass, everybody just walk in,
right?
400 people. I didn't do that. I hired my own guide that would take me to show me all the things I wanted to see. And in Egypt, believe it or not, I mean, all it takes is about $300, and you can have somebody take you anywhere, and they'll take you for 18, 20 hours. Anything you want to do, anywhere you want to go, anything you want to see, because their currency is so low in comparison to the dollar. But while we're over there, he takes me to the Sphinx, the pyramids. I get out, I look at it, I can't believe it, and I walked over to the Sphinx. I looked at it, never saw it. It's smaller in person than it is on TV. But I just wanted to feel what it felt like. I wanted to feel what kind of stonework it was, what kind of rock. What does a rock feel like on your fingertips? I touched it, and as soon as I touched it, it was like all the power in my body just literally just went off. Eyes went black, everything gone. And before I literally hit the ground face first, it's like everything just kind of came, like the power was, it's almost like I don't know if you've ever seen the old-fashioned TV. You turn it off, and they kind of like, pew! It's kind of like a slow going off. That's the sensation. It was like a slow going off of all motor functions in the body. And before I hit the ground, it's like everything popped back on. And I composed myself enough to stand up. Looking at the Sphinx, I'm thinking, well, what the heck was that? That was weird. But then I'm thinking, I'm out in the desert. Maybe I was dehydrated. Maybe it was the sun. So I started rationalizing in myself all the things that it could possibly be. So I'm a logical person. So I'm rationalizing all the possibilities could be other than anything extraordinary. But it was after that where I began to understand things that I couldn't understand, see things in the sky that usually didn't make any sense, but they completely made sense to me. So from that point, it's like a completely new departure of thought to where the things that are abstract and the things that make no sense completely make complete sense. And from there, I would look at old ancient structures and I would just understand them. I would see old hieroglyphics. I'd understand what it means. I'd see old works from Sumeria and I'd understand it. And for some reason, I could understand pretty much anything that was put in front of me that was ancient. So when you're talking about, how much study does it take? If I was a regular researcher who was an archaeologist, like Zecharia Sitchin, for example, who did great work with Sumerian texts, it took him 48 years to make these understandings of what he found that these hieroglyphics meant. However, when just searching on Google, I could look at it for like 30 seconds to a minute and know exactly what it meant. And then I would go to the next one and understand what that meant. And the next one, I'd understand what that meant. And then I said to myself, this can't be possibly true. I'm just really crazy. So then I would look at one hieroglyphic of Sumeria. I would know what it means. And then I would look up Zecharia Sitchin and read what he said that it meant. And what he said and what I said were nearly identical. And from that point, I realized, hey, I understand this. I don't know how, but I do. And from there, I could look at Egyptian. Believe it or not, all the hieroglyphics are nearly alike all over the world. They're not really different. The Sumerian is just like the Babylonian. The Babylonian is just like the Egyptians. The Egyptians are just like the Mayans. The Mayans are just like the Aztec. They literally have the same writer in each of them. And that's how you come to understand that the history that we're told isn't true, because the history is telling us the world was separated by vast oceans. There was no contact between peoples. But when you look at all the hieroglyphics together, there is the same writer in each of them. The only difference is cultural styling. But other than that, it's the exact same writer.
Were you able to, did you go to other sites besides Giza? Did you get to Abydos or Dendera or Luxor?
No, I never did. Never did. Believe it or not, I was over there working with the United States government, and I did something that was against policy. They have a coalition base there, and I was a liaison, media liaison. And as a liaison, you are not a soldier, and you are a government official, and you are not allowed to leave the base by yourself. You know, there's a lot of, terrorists and crime there. But I always wanted to see the pyramids, so I snuck off base by myself, went out there and only got to do it for one day, and that was it. Yep, I broke the rules.
Face first, though. I mean, this isn't, I want to say this was literal, right? Face first.
Yes, this is literal. This is literal.
Wow.
And let me tell you something about Egyptian sand. I don't know if you've ever been there.
No, I haven't.
Their sand is not like our sand. It doesn't have the same consistency or feel. It's almost like dust. It's like a handful of talcum powder.
Wow.
It's how light it is. It's a completely different feel. And that's when I felt it first, when I almost, broke myself in two.
It was a pillow landing.
Yeah, it really is soft.
Wow.
It feels like talcum powder. It's not sand like we know sand. It's completely different.
Did you get into the king's chamber?
No, I did not.
Okay, so
they had a whole visitors, 400 people in there.
Right.
So I didn't go.
Yeah, I don't know if I've talked about it so much. I don't know if I could do it. The claustrophobic side of things and doing that is something that just kind of freaks me out, just the thought of it. But
I can tell you, it does freak you out. Just being in the Egypt's Royal Museum, it kind of freaks you out because you're around these artifacts, and there's something about knowing that these people all lived and are gone and they're skeletons that it does change you. But to be honest, the greatest works of Egypt are not even in Egypt. The greatest statues that you'll ever see, the greatest writings and paintings and all that, they're not even in Egypt. The greatest works I've ever seen of Egypt were actually in France, in the Louvre. The Louvre has more Egyptian great art than Egypt has. And it's really amazing. They have all the good stuff. In the Egyptian Museum, they have a lot of stuff, but it's not on the scale that you find in the Louvre in France.
Yeah, we just got back from New York a couple of weeks ago, and we went to the Met, and they've got this, they have their Egyptian wing, but they had a special exhibit there this time around. So we just got back. But one of the things, and you mentioned you went up and you wanted that tactile feel of the Sphinx, right? You go up and you wanted to feel. And I did the same thing. I went up.
Same thing.
Yeah, I went up to this. It was about a 4,000-year-old sarcophagus, and made out of this black granite, right? And
I've seen one like it.
Right.
I've seen one like it.
It was like 10 to 15 feet long. It was the walls of this thing are a foot thick. It's 6 feet tall. It's just massive.
Massive.
And
yes.
I went up and I slapped it. I just wanted to see how it felt, right? And you might as well be slapping the street out in front of your house.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And the only thing that came to mind is they didn't do this with chicken bones, right?
There you go.
How are they carving this?
Right.
The dogma that we're taught and told, stone hammers and and copper chisels. No, I can.
No, none of that is true.
No, none of that is true. And the significance of that, when you go up and knock on one of these things and you look at the size of it, and then you just start to think, 4,000 years ago, Stone Age man, right?
Right.
No, I'm not buying into it. So we're going to hit a break here in about 2 minutes. So you come back, you have this crazy thing that happens at the Sphinx, and I wish I would have been there to see it. But so you get back, here. What was on your mind after you got back?
Well, I just know that I saw a lot of things while I was there, and I didn't know that anything out of the ordinary had happened to me. I didn't know until I started looking at, I think there was some show on the History Channel, some archaeological show, and they started showing these hieroglyphics about Egypt, and I could look at it on television, and I knew exactly what it meant before the announcer would tell what the meaning was. And then they'd show another thing on about Egypt, and I would understand what it meant before the announcer would tell what the meaning was. So then I started looking it up online. I looked up hieroglyphics of Egypt, and I started studying them on my own, and I started being able to make these leaps that really open up a lot of knowledge that people don't know. For example, the Great Pyramid of Egypt is called Khufu's Pyramid, and people don't believe that he created it because Khufu was 2500 BC, and the pyramids are older than 8,000 years. But Khufu is the reason that we understand what it means, because his name alone opens the actual meaning of the pyramid. And when you open it using his name, that's what creates the message. You try to tell somebody the message, they don't get it, and you try to sell the story to a television station, they don't get it. So you only have one option: make it yourself. And that's what I did.
We're going to hit this break, but one of the things that I think we are on the brink of starting to accept, and I mean academia and so, is that the linear time that we have been presented is completely wrong. You just said 8,000 years. So when we come back from the break, I kind of want to start there because I'm with you, but I want to know where this number comes from, and I find that fascinating. Our guest tonight, filmmaker Damon T Berry. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. We're talking about The Forever Time, his documentary film series, and it is extraordinary. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Damon, are you on Twitter?
No, I'm not on Twitter.
Okay, there you go. We're going to do 5,000 tweets tonight, but without you. Okay. All right. We'll be right back with Damon T Berry. Stay right there.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
Fade or not, things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind, forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code Jimmy when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy. IRA and 401k account holders, are you crossing your fingers for the stock market to continue its bull run? Or hoping for a miracle to pay off our $19 trillion national debt? American Bullion wants you to think for a moment. If we go through another significant stock market correction and things begin to unravel, you could suffer some serious losses. On the other hand, gold is a proven long-term asset that could hedge and protect your retirement accounts from getting washed away. Call American Bullion now and let them show you how easy it is to transfer your existing IRA or roll over your 401k into a gold IRA. American Bullion has an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau and is a leader in gold IRAs. With just one call, their experts can explain everything there is to know and get you started with a free gold IRA guide. Call 1-800-545-2525. Don't procrastinate. Save your retirement. Call American Bullion now at 1-800-545-2525. That's 1-800-545-2525.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Tonight, very special guest, filmmaker Damon T Berry is here, and his film series, The Knowledge of the Forever Time. One thing that I have to say, I'm going to say this out of the gate, is when you watch documentaries or some of the TV shows out there, I do that too as well. I've got my things that we do on television. And the thing that I fight the most, Damon, is I want to have an ending. A lot of things out there will take you to a certain point, and it's almost like a knowledge tease, right?
Right.
But you resolve and answer and present the questions. And now, was that a conscious decision on your part to actually resolve and present the answers to the questions that you also do?
Yes. We wanted to create a series that is not just a documentary, but a documentary that has a cinematic feel to it, a theatrical feel to it, a documentary that literally takes you on a journey. Like you said, I love documentaries, and like you said, it's kind of a tease, and then it's over. We want to take you on the full spectrum of the emotion of what the knowledge is, what it means, where it takes us, and what it means for us as people or civilized human beings on Earth. So what we've done is we've created a documentary in a very different style of a documentary, whereas every documentary, of course, they have the facts on the story. They put the facts, they put the information, the facts, and then it goes off. Well, the way we do the knowledge of the forever time, we let the facts, the knowledge, create the story. So if you place the knowledge or the facts or the information in the proper sequence, it creates a journey. It creates an unveiling, a mystery that is open, and then it takes you to what it means for us as humanity. So we're creating, literally using information and creating a story with it, and I think that's what makes it so powerful.
Your presentation, I it's funny. I'm going to do a partial spoiler here for the audience. Okay, your presentation on Stargates, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, no, we're not going to be able to get to the end of this, right? And I'm glued, right? I'm glued. Now, I'm not going to give it away, everybody. You got to go and watch this for yourself, and we're certainly going to discuss it tonight. But when you got to the end, actually, there was about a series of 8 answers there, so it wasn't just like one finale. And you know what you know what I'm referring to. But you got to the end, I'm like, holy crap, man! I think Damon's onto something here. And so there you go. That's the spoiler as I'm going to get. But that was really cool. Now, the thing is you had to, I want to get back to the age of the pyramids here. I'm not going to let that go. But you put that together in a sequence for the Stargate and what the answers were to the Stargate in a pretty extraordinary way. How did that come to you? Because it's trippy, man.
The thing that I've learned is everything that we're taught about our history is not true. Everything that we're taught about our Stone Ages, we didn't know how to do this. We had mallets and rope to create the pyramid. I mean, we had, wooden mallets to create all of the architecture that Egypt used. Anyone looking at that with any kind of serious eye, examining eye, investigative eye can tell you that that would not be possible. So knowing that, it opens your mind to look closer for the clues. And within each structure of Egypt that is written on a wall, they leave clues. Believe it or not, Egypt is everything they're creating. And we think, look at these great statues of these great guys, and they're so egotistical. They made these great structures. They thought nothing of themselves. They got great statues of themselves. They were so arrogant. We couldn't be further from the truth. When they're creating these great structures of these great giant human beings, if you look close, they leave a clue somewhere on that giant that tells us something about our future. So what they created in Egypt was not for them. It was for us. They created that 5,000 years ago for us so that we could come to the point to understand what it means. Now, when we're talking about the Stargate, none of that knowledge would be known if it wasn't for Egypt. And they made this knowledge 12,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, which means they knew another civilization of human beings would be on this earth. And they knew that they had to either warn us or tell us what the answers are, but they apparently couldn't do it out in the open, so they layered these tidbits of wisdom in each of their structures. And once you see it, it makes a complete story, and it literally transforms and changes the direction that humanity should go in just by learning that knowledge.
As you started to connect the proverbial dots, right? These little things, these little clues, and you do it so well in the documentary. But as you're putting this stuff together yourself, did your head explode at one point? Did you have a serious enlightening moment? Because when that finally comes together in the documentary, it's pretty nuts. But it's earth-shattering stuff. For you, did you just like go, this? Oh, here it is.
Oh no, that was for me. It was right after I came back from Egypt. That's where the earth-shattering stuff happened for me.
Right.
Right now, I'm putting in film, and you're feeling what I felt when I understood it.
Right.
And that was when I came back from Egypt. When you come back from Egypt, and you know nothing of hieroglyphics, nothing of pyramids, And then every time you see one presented, you understand exactly what it means. And it doesn't matter if it's Mayan or Sumerian, Babylonian, you understand it completely. That's what blows your head up. That blew me away. So what you're feeling now is what I felt when I first came back to the United States.
So 8,000, are you saying 8,000 BC, or are you saying 8,000 years old, so 5,000 BC on the pyramids?
Well, no. A lot of people believe, there's various sonic and carbon dating that traces the pyramids to be 10,000 years old, which is 8,000 BC.
Gotcha.
They believe it's that old. But then there's others that say it's 5,800 years old. But the vast majority conclude that it's got to be at least 4,500, because that's when civilization started. Our civilization began in 4,500 BC, our version of the Earth. So because there's a discrepancy under the radio carbon dating, I don't even get into how old it is. I say what the other people say it is. The focus of the story is to tell you not how old the pyramid is, but to tell you why the pyramid is here, what it means, why they made it, what its purpose is, and what does it mean to humanity that they had to create this thing. So we tell the story of the pyramid of why it's here, what its purpose is for. And when you understand its purpose, regardless of whatever your faith or your idea is, it's really telling us that the future of mankind is not on the earth. It's in space. It's in the cosmos. And to unveil it is a powerful story.
The age, the way that it looks, and I like the way that you say that, you know, it's your eyes, right? You're looking at it. That's what you need to trust. And so,
right.
You're there, you're on the Giza Plateau, and you hear, the historians try to present this, 2700 BC, whatever that number may be. And you look at them, did you just have an NFW moment? Like, no, it can't be.
Yeah, I'm like you. When I saw the sarcophagus and I saw the hieroglyphics and I saw the way they etched their writing in stones on the obelisks, it's clearly mechanical. It's work that could not be done with a copper chisel and a wooden mallet. And they're also using granite, which is very hard. And just to understand that those two things couldn't be done, that's when I stopped trusting what they were telling me in the history book and began to reach out and understand that there's something else. And believe it or not, understanding the hieroglyphics is what tells the story, because the hieroglyphics tell a story that we can't possibly understand, because we, in our minds, think you were dumb, you had a wooden mallet, and you had some rope. But if you understand the hieroglyphics, they're telling us things that are in the cosmos. They're showing us things that are around black holes. They're showing us star constellations. They're showing us that which is 2.5 million light years away that we can't even see without the Hubble telescope. So they're showing us this great knowledge, but because our instructors, our lecturers, our professors are all taught from the same school, to them, it can't be possible.
You present, let's actually go here. You present a few different pieces of evidence that show the planets, that show the sun, and how you accumulated numbers that added up to certain things. It's a big presentation, everybody. You have to understand where I'm going. You have to kind of see the movie. But walk us through that, because other researchers, and there are some very bright guys out there that I respect a lot, have not put this together. And the evidence isn't only in Egypt, but it's in China, and it's with Mesopotamia and the Sumerian culture, and it's over here in South and Central America, and it's in Asia, the same in India, and the same information is there. Why hasn't anybody put this together yet? Because it's right in front of us.
I'm so glad that you're not spoiling it. Thank you so much for that. But the thing is, if you all go to the same school and you all hear the same professors and you all read from the same books, you never make a leap. You never make that leap beyond it because it's what you've been taught. It's what your professor taught. It's what everyone that you respect teaches. And yet, the one thing about humanity is what makes us great is not that we're all alike or that we think alike. It's the ones that leap beyond the rest of us. The greatest understandings that we have in life come from people who people called crazy because their ideas were stupid. Einstein first taught us about black holes, and everybody called him crazy. It's dumb. You don't have any proof of it. Galileo taught us about the earth, and Newton taught us about gravity, and when they taught us this, no one in the schools were teaching these things. So when they made these assertions, they were all called crazy or kooks or hicks. But at some point, it brings about a conversation of study. So once people are able to study and understand that this is a reality, it's when we all, as a humanity, we leap forward. And I think this is just part of the process of how we get to understand it, because once we start talking about it, we start looking at it, and then we realize it's actually true. And that's how all of our great discoveries are usually made in our country.
Share with the audience your interpretation of what the sun actually is.
Well, that's giving away a lot of it.
No, well, but it's the starter too of everything. But
okay.
wow. I mean,
okay. Well, I'll tell you. Here's what we got. First of all, if you don't want it to be spoiled, you can go to The Knowledge of the Forever Time. Just type in Damon T Berry on YouTube and The Knowledge of the Forever Time, and you might want to turn off right now.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
right.
but some people get angry if I spoil it. But here it is: the Egyptians and the Babylonians and the Sumerians, they all left us information in hieroglyphics. And the information is always left to us, not by human beings, but they're always left by angelic beings. And these beings are always telling us that there's something particular about a star that we should know. And in all of the paintings of them, they show themselves in a star. And in our world, a star isn't just a star. A star is usually a sun. A sun is a star. So in every painting that you've ever seen of the ancient world, it's a clue that's left to us from the ancients. For example, if you see a halo around Jesus or a halo around any of the religious figures, it's actually a clue. The halo is not actually a halo. It's actually an image of the sun. So in everywhere around the world, the clue that is left to us is every people that made great structures around the world that endured for the thousands of years, they always made these structures to represent the sun. The Inca made these great structures that are of the sun. The Mayans also made great structures that represent the sun. The Egyptians also made great structures that represent the sun. And pretty much every great nation that ever lived leaves a great structure that represents the sun. But there's something about these structures that represent the sun that is our clue. Every structure that they created that represents the sun, it has an opening in it. It has a doorway. It has an entry point. And that is our clue. They're telling us the sun has an entryway. It has an opening. And the reason they're telling us this is because the sun is actually a gateway. It's literally a hole in space that allows us to go somewhere else. And I think NASA is just now coming on board with this because they just recently announced that they are creating a probe that they're going to send into the sun that will take readings not on the outside of the sun, but on the inside. So I think that what the ancients are telling us is that in order for us to understand interstellar travel, a star is a sun. And the ancient word for this travel was by the Egyptians was called a gate of heaven. We call it a stargate. And the sun is a stargate.
It's interesting how you also present this, and everybody, once you just go and watch all the documentaries, but Go and watch the Stargate one specifically, and then you get because the information is there. This isn't glossed over. It's very, very comprehensive, and you presented it in a way that even a guy like me can walk away and go, man, I feel pretty smart right now. I'm kind of, I feel like a physicist all of a sudden. But that probe that you're referring to obviously would melt, right? It would.
No.
Well,
no.
No. Well, hold on. Let me finish. With the information that we have been given, it's got to melt, right? But
you're right.
That's where I'm going. And
you're right.
And I'm not going to give this away. You need to go and watch. And it's like, wow. Okay, I get it. So yeah, there you go. And it blew my mind, man. It just absolutely freaked me out. So now, okay. So then I want to tie that into the ancient cave paintings over in Australia. How did it come together for you to see? Again, we're not spoiling anything, everybody. You can just go and watch for yourself. But how did you see the black holes instead of eyes? I just want to know where that came from, because that floored me.
It really begins with hieroglyphics, to be honest. When you understand hieroglyphics, you understand the method of communication, you understand what they're trying to say, and it opens your mind to understand that these ancient peoples were not ancient as we understand them. The Knowledge of the Forever Time, Part 2, Episode 2, Invitation 2, is the one where we start opening up cave paintings. So when you go to the Knowledge of the Forever Time, number 2, this is where we open up the cave painting, because we're all taught that 50,000 years ago, cavemen were some monkey hybrid people that were living in caves that had no knowledge of fire, but they were just now understanding that, hey, I need to kill an animal to eat to survive. But when you go into these caves, for example, Australia caves are 10,000, 13,000, 15,000 years old, and there's caves out there that we have in the Knowledge of the Forever Time Part 2 that are 50,000 years old, 60,000 years old. And these 60,000-year-old cave paintings where people are savages and dumb, they're actually detailed star constellations. A bull, for example, if you see a bull in a cave painting, you think, okay, these savages were just learning how to draw a picture of a bull. But they're actually clandestine messages sent to the survivors of the earth. Because if you look at the bull, he'll have like 7 or 8 strange dots going down his face. And then he'll have another strange dot right there on his shoulder. So you'll think it's a weird bull with spots on his face, and you won't think anything of it. But if you take that same bull, lay it on the constellation of Taurus in the sky, it has the same dots running down its face exactly as the cave painter painted it. So 50,000 years ago, they're creating star constellations. They're laying them out as animals, because all of our star constellations, nearly all of them are animals. They're a bird, they're a dog, a horse, a cow, and that's what the cave painters are creating. They're literally showing us we're not savages. We're not dumb. These are actual constellations in the sky. And there's only one reason why cave painters would want us to know about constellations, is because we have to go there. Our future lies somewhere in space. So once you know that they're creating cave paintings showing constellations, the next cave painting, which is 45,000 years old, shows us a symbol of a hand. And it's a hand, but we don't see a constellation in the sky that's called a hand. However, Hubble telescope just took a picture of a constellation and a nebula, and it looks exactly like a hand. The only problem is we just now have the Hubble telescope,
right?
But they painted it on a wall 45,000 years ago. So how is this possible? How could they see this? So, which takes us into the next level of where we get into the aliens. We see aliens with these large bulbous heads and these large black eyes, and we think, wow, it's an alien. But remember, it's on a cave. And everything that they did in hieroglyphics, everything that they made in cave paintings was for us. They left this information for us. And the reason they leave it for us is because we don't know this, and we're not supposed to know this, but every civilization that came before us was completely wiped out with no trace of what happened. And we know civilization was here 10,000 years ago, but there's no trace of any human. It's all wiped out. And the cave paintings are showing us they were here and they were technological 20,000 years ago, and they're completely wiped out, left without a trace. And then it goes 30,000 years, 40,000 years, 50,000 years, and every civilization of mankind has technology that we have. They have automobiles, they have technology, they have space exploration, they have Hubble telescopes, and then they get wiped out completely. And there's no trace of them. For example, here we are in our world. Our world began with Sumeria, 4500 BC. Anything past that, we have no knowledge of it.
Right.
We are literally oblivious to what happened. So what these human beings are doing with cave paintings, they're telling us what happens at the end of the world. They're telling us what we don't know. And they're leaving these clues and these marks so that one of us will understand it and warn the rest of us, because every civilization on Earth only lives to be 5,000 to 10,000 years old, and it gets wiped out. We're right now right at 5,135 years. So our world change, according to the Mayans, happened after 2012. After 2012, we're supposed to come into this new age of knowledge, this new age of enlightenment, this new age of understanding that is supposed to usher us into the end of our world. So this is all a part of it. So everybody that got wiped out 50,000 years ago, before they died, they went into caves and began painting these messages to show you we're not cave people. We weren't stupid. We had technology. We had space exploration. And the reason these cave paintings are still here is because apparently they escaped detection. No one could understand that they were actually constellations then, because everything that they create in the previous world that gets destroyed, they wipe out everything. So there's no trace or there's no clue left to the next civilization of human beings that come on this earth.
One day, I can't wait. We're going to have dinner and drink some wine. I can only imagine what that conversation is going to be like. Let's take a break right here. Let's take a break right here, Damon. And when we come back, one of the things that we've always been taught when we look at those cave paintings, you know, we're used to seeing the human face, right? We're acclimated to that, and that's what we think we see, but we're not. And we're going to discuss that when we come back. Damon T Berry. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
FoodForLiberty.com sells high-quality, storable foods from Numana. And right now, take advantage of our summer special. Purchase 2 family packs and we'll send you a Pro Pure Water Pitcher, a $70 value, free. This premium pitcher is ideal for use with just about any water source and removes more contaminants than other brands. And it comes with a filter that lasts up to 2 full years. Whether you need to be prepared in the event of an emergency, you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, Numana is known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, super nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. And with a 25-year shelf life, you can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. Go to foodforliberty.com right now for great-tasting, high-quality, storable foods from Numana. Buy 2 family packs and get the Pro Pure Water Pitcher free. It makes good sense to be prepared. Get it at foodforliberty.com.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's out of here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With a mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Damon T Berry, filmmaker. The Knowledge of the Forever Time is his film series, and you can just go and find it on YouTube. But, of course, we've got all the links up right now on Twitter. And now, Damon, seriously, we are acclimated. We see the human face in anything. That's what we do. It's part of evolution, right? You can see it in clouds, in tree bark, in dirt, in a piece of toast, right? That's what we do. Now, when you see a cave painting now of humans, right? Is that what you see, or are you you're way past that now, aren't you?
Way past that. Way past that. The one thing that we have to understand is, and it's. Remember, I said the show has unforgiving truths in it, and sometimes it's not comfortable. But one of the unforgiving truths is the reason we have all these debates about what was 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, is because we have no trace. We have no clues. The clues that we do have are so little that no one even agrees on them. But we know that human beings have been on this earth. There is a cast of a human footprint that is more than 300 million years old, according to radiosonic carbon dating. 300 million years old, a cast of a human being's footprints walking on this earth. And what is so profound about that is this person that they found their foot, it's not a barefoot. This individual was wearing shoes.
Right.
Yeah, and that was 300 million years ago. So the thing about our civilization that we have to come and face the reality of is human beings are at some point just taken from this earth. I mean, literally just taken and left, and we are allowed to leave no trace of what happened. So when a cave painter is painting this big face, and they're creating this face all over a cave, and you see a face, these big giant eyes, this strange straight nose, and you'll think it's a human being. It's not. Each of these large black eyes, these are clandestine messages that they're sent to one of us who can see the message, understand the message, and tell everyone. These aren't faces of human beings. These are actually, most of the time, they're star constellations. And sometimes when they're big, big black eyes, they're black holes. And although we see it as a face, it's not. the great, usually they have a great light image with these two black eyes on it. The light image is actually the sun. And the sun creates a black hole. And I know this is counterintuitive to what you've taught, but these are what they're telling us. So we think this is impossible, but we have pictures already in space that literally show the exact presentation that these cave painters painted 15,000 years ago, and it looks exactly like what they're saying. You'll see these two great large eyes in space with a big circle around it that looks like a head, and you will think, oh my God, this is what they're saying to us. And what's so important about it is when you see a cave painting with a large eyes with little eyelashes around them, those aren't eyelashes. Those are actually forms of light, and they also represent gravitational force. So what they're showing us in this one painting of what we think is a space alien, it's literally two black holes, which show one in the opening, one in the closing, by the sun, which is in the center of it. So that's how you really understand what they're saying. And the reason the sun, again, is always so important in every ancient creation is because the sun really is our future. And it's really the way that we save our earth for some reason. It goes back 50,000, 60,000 years, 100,000 years. Everything is created to send us to the sun. So I trust their history more than I trust our history. I trust their scientists more than I trust ours, because no scientist in our day saw the end of the world. No scientist of ours was here at the onset of an ice age.
Right.
No scientist of here was here to understand any of these things. They were.
I'll tell you something that happened to me really funny about you a couple of weeks ago. I finished one of your documentaries, and I'm sitting here. It was like a day later, and NASA threw out this press release, about whatever. But they used in the press release was a dual black hole constellation shot, and I'm looking at it, and all I see are eyelashes, and I see the sun, I see the burst, I see I see the face.
You get it,
right,
yes.
right.
Yes,
and I
yes.
sat back and man, Damon ain't right, man. I'm getting messed with right now.
Oh, it's amazing when you finally come to understand.
Right.
Hey, when you come to terms with yourself and say, okay, hey, what's more plausible? What's more plausible? Our society tells us 50,000 years ago, 15,000 years ago, they were savages. They didn't know anything. And then you see them making constellations and black holes. How could they know that if they were the savages that we were taught? How could they? I mean, what's more believable, that they were dumb or that they were intelligent? Because there's no way this could exist if they didn't have space exploration. You can only see that site with high technology telescopes. It's impossible.
There's no other explanation for it, and this is the thing. And I'm so glad that you drive this home in the films, because I like to think that I kind of have a grip about what's going on. Right? I like to feel that confident.
Right.
But when I walk outside and I look up at the stars, unless it's Mars or Jupiter, I don't know what's a planet and what's not. I don't know what the solar system is. I can't. You can't wrap your head around the sun and what's going on and the the Milky Way. I don't know that there's 8, 9, 10 planets out there. I don't know the difference of anything. I don't. Right? I can't. Right. But yet the ancients absolutely knew that there were, at that time, 8 planets, 9 planets. They knew about the sun. How did they? It's impossible without a telescope. It just is. So they had a telescope. Obviously,
exactly. So that's what makes what we learn and what we're taught so against. It's pejorative, to be honest with you, because it's telling us a story that we now know isn't true. And we're presenting knowledge that's proving it's not true, and the backlash is not against the fact that it's untrue, but the backlash is against the individual telling you that it is true. And the star constellations are so important because UFOs are always connected to the end of every world. Every cave painting that we find 10,000 years, 13,000 years, 100,000 years always has a UFO vehicle or an alien of some kind in it. And when I started understanding that the cave painter was showing us star constellations, I kept wondering what's so important about star constellations. And then one day, and this is in the Knowledge of Their Forever Time number 3, one day while I'm online, Yahoo, some site, hey, look at this great UFO video. And I'm not a UFO guy. So I click on the video, I look at it, I'm like, hey, wow, that's a UFO. There's like 6 of them. I was like, why are they making the sign of the Pleiades? And I was like, okay, maybe that's an accident. So then I go look up another UFO. The UFOs will get on there, they'll run in space, and then they'll lay themselves in the constellation of Orion. So I started watching all these different UFO videos, and what you learn from the UFO videos is why the cave painters are making constellations. It's a form of contact. It's literally a language. So I'm watching this one video. If you watch number 3, The Knowledge of the Forever Time, you'll see that UFOs have a very sophisticated code of conversation. For example, you'll see UFOs in the sky. There'll be like 10 of them. Suddenly they will arrange themselves in a pattern, and they'll hold it for about 2 seconds. Then they'll change again to a different formation, hold it for another 2 seconds, then change to another formation. And when you look at them, you can literally match each of them to a star constellation. One of them is for the star constellation of Orion, then they change into Cygnus, then they change into Triangulum, and then they change into the Pleiades, and then they stop. And what's important about this is because they will do this over the United States, and then you'll see the same constellations in China. You'll see them do the exact same thing in Europe. You'll see them do the exact same thing in Mexico. So it's literally a form of communication. So what we've been taught of mathematics being the universal language isn't. The universal language is star constellations because star travel requires it. If you're going to travel into the cosmos, you don't have to know math as much as you need to know star constellations because it tells you where you are in the cosmos. And what's really important about this is it's everywhere. Everything in ancient world has to do with stars, star constellations, and the sun. And the sun and stars are always linked together. So it only leaves one conclusion. We've got to get to the sun.
Okay. I want to go like 5 different directions. Let's try to get this thought out really quick. You tie in the Anunnaki like I have never seen it presented before. And to me, I think it's revolutionary, but it's also it's getting out there. I mean, Sitchin was already way out there, right? And it's a tough thing to digest. But I think we're understanding more and more about what the Anunnaki actually meant to us today. But you hit it from another direction. How did this come to you?
The Anunnaki, everything that the Anunnaki has created, this is where Zecharia Sitchin is limited. To him, the Anunnaki is Sumerian. And that's where the difference comes in. Because if you read the hieroglyphics, Anunnaki is not just Sumerian. Anunnaki is also Babylonian. It's in their hieroglyphics too. Anunnaki is also in Egyptian. It's in their hieroglyphics too. It's also in Mayans. It's in the Aztecs. It's everywhere. So when you understand hieroglyphics, they all have the exact same writer. What they don't have is the same cultural expression. For example, you can write, a hieroglyphic is basically writing the same word in different languages. For example, if I had an artist who was of Latin descent, I could tell him to paint me something, what it means, he would paint it. I can tell someone who is of African descent to paint the same thing, someone who is European to paint the same thing, and they will all paint the same thing, however, to be different and stylized to their culture. So that's all hieroglyphics are. And the Anunnaki was a part of something that we will come to understand in the future. They're the builders of our world. They're the ones who create our world. And believe it or not, the space exploration is so important because it brings that knowledge back to us. And when this world is wiped away, individuals will be assigned to recreate it. And the Anunnaki, that's their sole purpose, was to create our world, to rebuild our world, to restart our world. And that's back 4,500 BC. Now, when we come to the end, the Anunnaki will have to return because this world will be wiped away and we have to start a new one all over again. But everything that the Anunnaki did was for us to learn. We think that when we see Anunnaki in paintings and hieroglyphics that it's just for painting. It's all knowledge. Everything that they leave for us is a clue. And it's literally telling us, you've got to listen. Something's getting ready to happen on this earth. You've got to understand what we're saying. And that's the part of the story that I think we're just awakening to, because we think hieroglyphics are art. We think Sumerian paintings and stela are art. They're not. They're literally messages to the survivors who will walk on this earth, which is us.
Do you think that science and possibly governments have this knowledge and are suppressing it?
I will say something, and I shouldn't, but I'm going to tell you it. The United States government knows something, and I think contact has already begun, because I think, and I'm being as honest as I can, the only way that I could understand these star constellations from these UFO formations is to know star constellations. But the second question comes in, who are they speaking to?
Right.
If they're making these star constellations, and I'm just a novice, and I pick up on it, the question is, who are they talking to? And I would have to believe that it is the United States government.
Do you think that that there is direct contact, and do you think it's continuing?
I am more than 100% that it is direct contact.
More than 100%.
Yeah.
Are you saying 101? Are you going to like a $1.50?
Yeah, I'm going to $1.50.
Right.
I'm going to $1.50 because there are certain things that the United States is creating that's telling me that they've established contact. And one of them is, remember we talk about the sun, and everything is about the sun, and there's a doorway into the sun. These UFOs are always coming, and they're creating these star constellations. And when they created these star constellations, the United States starts creating new things. They start going into a new direction. And I don't know if you noticed, the number one concern of NASA is not saving the Earth anymore. The number one concern is finding a new planet to live on.
Right.
Everything they're doing now is about leaving the Earth, finding another planet, finding another place for humanity to survive. And that's their goal now, which tells me that something else is going on that the general public doesn't know. But it also tells me they're going to send a probe into the sun to see what it does when it enters, and they're also telling us we need to find another Earth to live on. So that by itself is telling you contact is being made, and they know something that they're not telling us.
Do we have instructions how to... I don't want to give away anything, but do we have instructions on how to get through the sun safely, without, frying to a crisp?
Well, they left us a cave painting that is in the Knowledge of the Forever Time, and that's number 5, the one we're talking about. It's a cave painting in there that's 13,000 years old, and it's a detailed painting. It's detailed. And it's really saying what all the other paintings have said, but I chose to use that one because it's the most complete of all of them. All of them will give you directions. Even Egypt gives you directions. But this one has everything you need in it. It tells you how to enter, it tells you what to do when to get out, and it tells you how to get your bearings once you exit. And because it has all of that information in there, you can't go wrong by following their instructions, because I've learned I trust their science more than I trust ours, because they clearly have done it before, and we haven't.
Are you Are you planning on, or are you interested in speaking in public and doing presentations like this?
Well, I hadn't really looked at that because right now, to be honest, we're looking for representation. We're looking for an agent or someone who can get us into the big theaters. We want the big theaters. We have distribution on Roku and iTunes and things of that nature. We're at UFO TV, but we really want to get the big theatrical because there's so much more coming up. In the next episodes is so big. It's so huge what is facing us in the future that we want the story to be told in the biggest way possible. Because, for example, the next film is based on the Black Knight. Black Knight is a satellite that appeared over our world in 1920s before we even created satellites, and it's been monitoring our Earth, but it has the ability to appear and disappear whenever it wants. And people have been scratching their heads over why is this satellite always watching our world? And we're going to open up what the Black Knight is, what its purpose is, where it leads us, and then it leads us even further into the future. And there is a there is a finite number to these films. Once we get to the last one, which is the biggest one, we want to tell it in the biggest way possible.
What did you make of Pepsi's Black Knight a film that they did a few months back, the 10-minute one with Usher?
I haven't even seen that one. I haven't seen it.
Oh, there's your
What is it?
There's your homework.
What is it?
Just look up Pepsi Black Knight. That's all you got to do. They did they did a 10-minute film. I want to go 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Time is a concept I don't really relate to, so I don't know. It might be, may have been 6 months ago, but they did a 10-minute film. And check this out, Damon. I don't want to spoil it for you, so just go and watch it.
Okay.
But
no, spoil it for me. Spoil it. I didn't see it, so I'm okay.
Okay. I'm going to give you this. The opening credits, as they roll down, it literally says on the screen, everything you're about to see is fact. Okay?
No kidding.
Right. Now, go and watch the film. It's 10 minutes. Usher is the narrator and presenter, and it's well done. It's well shot. And it's interesting. So why? But my question is, you haven't seen it yet, but obviously Pepsi spent a lot of money on this. It's a big budget thing. Why do it? And why say everything that you're about to see is fact? And use somebody global like Usher, a celebrity to do this. What does that do? It gives the legitimate side of the film. And get the message out as wide as you can. But why do it? That's the question. Why? Why do it?
Well, I really think they're tapping into the UFO audience. The Black Knight is probably one of the greatest enigmas out there. And there are many films that are already made on the Black Knight that are just by UFO enthusiasts that have over 1 million views on them. So I think if you add up just all the Black Knight films, you're looking at 10, 20 million people. So I think it makes a lot of sense for them in a business standpoint, but it is a conundrum that people have been wrestling with for a number of years. But I can tell you, we are going to tell it in a way that no one else has ever told. We're going to tell it in a way that no one else has ever seen. It's a whole new peeling the layer of the purpose of man, the purpose of life, and the purpose of the Black Knight. And when you see the way we're going to present it, you'll say, okay, all right, nothing's like this right here, because we're going to tell it from a completely different perspective.
Yeah, check out the Pepsi one and get back to me on that. Let me know tomorrow. I know you're going to watch it after the show tonight.
I'm pulling it up while we're talking.
Right? Now, what did we're going to hit a break here, but and when we come back, I want to talk about Göbekli Tepe. But what do you make of Hillary and Obama and Bill all going on Kimmel and Ellen talking about aliens in Area 51 in the middle of an election cycle of all things, and John Podesta and his comments about suppress knowledge, and he regrets not pushing more on the alien agenda. What do you think is really going on with that?
You want to talk about it now?
Yeah. We
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to take a break.
No, we have 5.
To be honest with you, and I'm just be as honest as possible, I don't follow politics too much. I like a candidate or I don't like a candidate, but I really don't follow the Tonight shows and things like that. I just know that the United States government, if you are really a true official, you are constrained by national security not to divulge very important information that will lead to any disruption in the human civilization. So I really don't trust, put too much stock in what I hear a president say, because they are bound by national security rules, because I used to work for the government, and that's one thing you can't do. You can't disclose classified information relating to anything that would cause a disruption in civilization.
Yeah, that's interesting, and I often wonder if if the president hasn't been to Area 51, right? And hasn't, then what does he know? You got to go there, you know what I mean? So it is so limited in scope, and certainly up until the early 90s, mid-90s, it still technically didn't even exist at all. So the budgets and the knowledge of it, well, no, not even the president knew that Area 51 is there. So today, if a president hasn't flown in and walked around that base, what do they actually know? The answer is probably nothing, any more than what we know.
But the second question is, if he did go there, and if he does know exist, do you think he has the authority to tell us?
Or would he have the authority to even ask questions once he got there, right?
Good point.
You know, no, Mr. President, that's a room you can't go into, but let's show you the cafeteria.
But there's one thing about the government is, I don't know if you've ever watched any NASA films, this will tell you how secretive it is. NASA will do a live feed about looking at the space shuttle, somebody doing a spacewalk. All of a sudden, a UFO will appear right over the shoulder looking at them, and then they'll cut the feed. So the United States is not in the interest of divulging any information about UFOs. And if you go look up NASA on anything they show, they'll show the space station or a view of the Earth, or they'll be talking about a spacewalk, and some strange object will literally fly right in view, and then suddenly the screen will go black. We're sorry for the difficulties, but we are unable to get operation. We'll be back up in another hour. They cut it off every time a UFO is present.
It's one of my favorite things to watch is the feed getting dropped. It's more exciting. It's more exciting than what's in the background. Let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight, Damon T Berry. When we come back, we're going to talk about Göbekli Tepe. I need to go back, actually, Damon, and I want to talk about the faces in the cave paintings across continents, because that's fascinating to me, too, as well. We'll be right back. Our guest tonight, filmmaker Damon T Berry. Stay right there.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you tired of brown rust stains on your toilets, sinks, and clothes? Does your water smell and taste bad? Don't live with these problems anymore. HydroCare's revolutionary well water systems, available at Wave Home Solutions, gives you clean, healthy, great-tasting water from every faucet. They remove iron, hydrogen sulfide, sediment, and many other contaminants that are distasteful and damaging your fixtures. You'll be amazed how fresh and clean well water can be. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Fate or not, things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind, forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code Jimmy when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Damon T Berry. He's got the pipes, don't he? Every time he says son, you snap to attention. And you know what's funny, Damon? After they watch all of your videos and they hear you say son in the future, they're going to go, yeah, Church is right. He says son.
I wish.
No, you say it with such conviction, man. I'm telling you, it's got a whole new meaning for me. Now, and I'm not being cavalier or funny here. I'm being serious. But now, with all of the representations in France, Australia, here in the United States, with the American Indians, and these representations of what we have always thought, and rightly so. Alien beings, helmets, all of that imagery. And it's an honest thing to deduce because that's exactly what it looks like, right? Certainly in a modern sense. But they are certainly the same. Now, is the imaging coming from one single point source of knowledge, right? Or are they seeing or trying to represent the same things individually? Why do you think they're all identical? And they certainly are.
Well, here's what the Anunnaki are showing us. Our history tells us that the world was separated by waters. There was no flight. Human beings couldn't get from Egypt to the Americas back in the old days. It wouldn't be until, 1200s, 1300s till we'd be able to do that. The problem is these things that the Anunnaki created were created showing us the same thing. For example, the symbol of God in Sumeria is the exact same symbol of God in Babylonia, which is the exact same symbol of God in Egypt. And you find this exact same symbol of God in Peru. You find it in Nazca. You find it with the Mayans. You find it with the Aztecs. You find it everywhere. So flight was possible, which means they have one source of information.
Right.
That source of information was traveling all over our world, telling all of us, or helping us to rebuild whatever lives we had, or to start our civilizations. So when we're talking about what we're seeing the same thing, it's one person that was traveling from one country to another, which became an entire culture of civilization. Because we find Sumerian artifacts in Peru. I mean, we find them there. We find Egyptian artifacts with the Mayans. So it's proof that we did travel and there was communication between all these different parts of the earth. The problem that we have is we believe we're it. We believe we're supreme. We believe there's no civilization like us. And because we believe this from this standpoint, we never hear or learn anything because we think we're the highest echelon of creation, and we're not. All this was done before.
And it certainly crashed and burned the dogma of everything started at 3500 BC. It's all right there.
Exactly.
Right? And
exactly.
And there, to me, a totally upright, walking, functional civilization like Egypt with their best artwork was at 3000 BC, right? Their best.
Exactly. Full language, full writing system, everything
math,
at the exact same point.
Right. Astronomy, algebra, everything was there, right? Well, that can't be right. And if we back up now, we have Göbekli Tepe is now surfaced. Academia is still in denial. What do you think the significance is of Göbekli Tepe now?
Which part of it? Which part?
That it's 12,000 years old, and it wasn't supposed to exist. Now we're at real Stone Age man at the end of the last ice age scenario here, and Göbekli Tepe wasn't supposed to exist, but it does.
Right, and here's the thing that we were talking about when we were trying to date the pyramids. The Sphinx is dated right around that same time. The pyramids is dated around that same time. And so we always scratching our heads. The reason we're always scratching our heads is because we believe what we want to believe. We want to believe we're it, and there was nothing before us. No, there was no technology before we came. And if there was technology, what happened to it? We have no proof of it. And Göbekli Tepe is the same thing. It's clearly showing us that these people were raising 20 and 30-ton slabs of stone and creating these monumental artworks. But here's the story that should really get us scratching our heads. How come all of these great civilizations, when they found Göbekli Tepe, it was buried. It wasn't destroyed. It wasn't wiped out. Somebody carefully covered it over with sand, carefully covered over everything that it was, literally hiding it from the survivors of the new earth, which is us. So the question should be is, every time we find one of these great civilizations, it's never because it's destroyed. It's literally just carefully covered over so that nobody can find it. So it's literally wiping out all traces of what humanity was before we got here. And it's a systematic, it's like a scalpel taking out a part of our history so that we won't know it. It's skillful in that it takes out every piece of the puzzle that we would ever have to surmise that the civilization was here before. So that's the part that always troubles me about all the great discoveries. The places that they find are never destroyed. They're just carefully covered over, bulldozed over with just sand and dirt so that nobody finds it.
Yeah. And what did you exactly? I don't know if it was meant to be a time capsule. It could be that. And you certainly referenced that in your films with all of these megalithic structures. And I tend to believe that. Was it to save it because there was some kind of cataclysmic event about to happen and they knew about that and they wanted to, protect it and save it? Did they want to bury it and come back later at another date, saving food in your refrigerator? I don't know if it was that either. Maybe they had to run and they buried it and hid it from somebody else and they didn't want somebody else. All of those possibilities are there, but it's high technology and high intelligence of a civilization that was supposed to be completely primitive. And that's the perplexing part of Göbekli Tepe.
Yes, and if we accept the narrative that it is primitive, then we'll scratch our heads. But if we accept the reality that they were technological, it makes complete sense. And I think that's where the conundrum always happens. We want to believe what we're taught rather than what they're teaching us.
And when you look at Göbekli Tepe with Damon eyes, right? With your eyes, what do you think that it actually is? Do you think it was a temple? Do you think it was religious? Do you think it was something else altogether? What do you see there? I'm still undecided. I don't know what it represents.
Well, the one thing, the way I see it and what I see when I see it, all of the structures that were destroyed, or the structures that were covered over, or the structures that were always megalithic, they have nearly the same dimensions that you find in the Bible. The Bible tells the story of Noah's Ark. And although we've seen the Ark as a big boat, most scholars say that, according to the specifics, it was a circle. It wasn't a boat. It was a circle. It was literally a round structure. And the round structure had covering. And if we just go based on that understanding of an ark being a circle, if an ark is a circle and it has a structured covering over it, it means it's protecting something that's inside of it. So when I see Stonehenge, I see Göbekli Tepe, they have the exact same markers, that it was a structure that is clearly circular, and it also has load-bearing walls, which are the stone pillars that are within it. And these load-bearing walls are created for one purpose: to hold something very heavy on top of it, which is the ceiling. So if you need 20 tons of stone just as a pillar, it means you're going to have something that's even heavier on top of it. So I think Göbekli Tepe is an ark. I think Stonehenge is an ark. And the reason I do this is because all of the load-bearing structures appear to be in place as though they're holding a ceiling. And if each individual load-bearing wall is 20 tons, the actual ceiling of it could be 500 tons. It could be just huge, massive. So whatever they were hiding in there, they didn't want anyone to get. And whatever was going to happen on the earth, it needed to be something strong enough to withstand whatever is happening out there and not decay and not break. And there's another key, because every pillar in Göbekli Tepe has something on it. So if it's an ark, Göbekli Tepe, on one of the pillars, in one part of it, has a picture of a dog. Another pillar has a picture of a monkey. Another pillar has a picture of a bird. Another pillar has a picture of and these could all be literally markers as to what is being saved. It could be a DNA housing, and these pillars mark what each of these pillars are supposed to be, what's attached to them. We don't know what was there. It could have been a DNA housing that was next to each pillar to represent each of the animals that was being saved, so that when the earth starts again, we have that DNA, we can recreate them again. Stonehenge is the same way. It's a big circle, like an ark. It has these huge pillars, load-bearing structures. The ceiling could have been 500 tons. It could have withstand a nuclear blast and still survived. What gives them away is it doesn't have pictures of what's in Stonehenge. What gives Stonehenge away is the Aubrey holes. The Aubrey holes tells us what's inside that structure. And the Aubrey holes tells us that there's human beings. Each of the Aubrey holes are the bones of human beings. So if I were a technological individual and I came to that structure, all I'd have to do is analyze that sediment, and I'd know what's inside that structure is human. So that's what I think it is.
Wow, what an original thought. If we discuss Göbekli Tepe, as you know, constantly on this show, that's what we do. And that's trippy. I can't think of it.
Yeah, that's what I think. If I'm looking at it with my eyes, that's what I see.
Wow.
Because each of them identify what's inside that structure.
Where do you come up with these ideas? Why are you so outside of the box? I mean, that is completely against the paradigm.
Well, the one thing that I know is that each of us understands something. Each of us are here for a purpose. I think that when we come to an understanding of something, when you know the whole story, it makes complete sense. What the cave painters are saying exactly what the Egyptians are saying. The Egyptians are saying the same things the Babylonians are saying. The Babylonians are saying the same thing the Mayans are saying. Everybody's saying the same thing. The only ones who's not listening is us. We have what our professor taught us and our books tell us, and we're not listening to you. We're the ones who aren't listening. They're giving us every single clue possible, telling us that there is an end coming. And the thing that we should be asking ourselves is, we know Göbekli Tepe was built. What happened to them? We know they created the pyramids. What happened to them? We know there was an entire civilization thriving in Australia. What happened to them? We don't have any knowledge of any civilization that came before us. Just like Göbekli Tepe, when they covered it over, all these other civilizations did the same thing, and we have no knowledge. And the thing we should ask ourselves is, why do they don't want us to know?
Why do you think there's no hieroglyphics inside the Great Pyramid? Why do you think they let that naked? It's such an it's the most incredible thing that humans have ever built, and it's there, but there's nothing there. Why do you think that is? Especially inside of the king's chamber. You would have thought if they were arrogant enough, like you were saying, right, to build these 100-foot tall statues of yourself. I wouldn't mind doing that one day. But anyway, why wouldn't they continue the arrogance and the conceitedness and paint that thing with hieroglyphics and their names?
See, that's where we're wrong again. They never did anything conceited. We just think that because that's what they teach us. It's not conceited. Everything that they did has a clue in it. It's like, believe it or not, it's like, for example, we're finding out our world is getting to be wiped out. We know we're all going to die. What do? And this is what makes them better than us.
Right.
This is what makes all of their civilizations better than all of us. If we find out some beings come, tell us they're going to wipe us all out, we know our end is coming, they were better than us, because when we find out our end is coming, what we do, we gather with our families. We pray with our families. We go to our churches, our synagogues, our mosques. We pray and we weep and we hold each other and hope that the end comes and that we're together. They were better than us. When they found out their end was coming, they didn't think of their family. They didn't think of themselves. They thought of us. So what they did, they started writing. They started chiseling. Mm-hmm. They started painting, because they wanted to let the next world know what happens. And that's what all this is really about. It's about the last gasps of a dying world that wants to send a message to us, letting us know what happens before it ends, that we can change it. And that's what the whole thing is about. So when we look at the pyramid, there's a whole other understanding to the pyramid that people don't realize. The pyramid is not, and we got to give Khufu, who is a pharaoh, 2500 BC. He gets all the credit for the pyramid, because remember, the pyramid was not made just as a stone brick edifice. It had limestone on the outside of it. The pyramid was glistening. The pyramid almost looks like mirrors with on the outside of it. The pyramid, when they created it, was so powerful, so full of light that you couldn't even look upon it, because the stones were they just reflected the light so greatly. So when you understand that the pyramid is the pyramid of the sun, that's your clue.
Right.
The pyramid represents the sun. The sun has an opening. Once you get inside the opening of the sun, that's what the king's chamber, the queen's chamber, and all of the other chambers are for. It's a diagram. It's showing you where you should go once you enter. It's literally a blueprint for the travel. That's why it's created. And if we didn't have Khufu, we wouldn't understand any of this. So it's not really for anything on the inside, because if you hold up the pyramid up against the sun, literally lay it on top of it, it's literally a diagram. And the hole of the entryway is nearly the exact location where you find that square hole in the sun.
Right. Let me ask you this as we start to wind this down. Is it, the ending of all of these great civilizations, is it self-inflicted or is it something external impacting the Earth or something else that is causing the catastrophe and the ending of this? Is it self-inflicted or is it a natural, some phenomena that happens?
It's both. From what the archaeologists are showing us, what the stones are telling us, it's both. There is an end that comes on our Earth, and it's always. Let's just start from the beginning. Every story of the end has the same thing in it. The Bible, Egypt, Babylon, Mayans, they all tell the same story. What's the same story? Before the end, there'll be wars. Before the end, there'll be drought. There'll be pestilence, disease. There'll be famine. There'll be death. They all tell the exact same story. And the problem with the story is we're in the part of the story where the earth begins to dry out. We're in the part where water becomes scarce. We're in the part where famine takes hold. Because remember, right now, we've lost nearly half of our fish and sea life already. It is projected in the next 50 years that all fish in the sea will be extinct. We've lost 40%. In the last 40 years, we've lost half of all wildlife. So we're losing fish, we're losing animal life, and the planet is heating up to a point where even governments, the number one commodity they want now is water, which is going to create wars for civilization, wars for life, and we're at the point where the pestilence and the famine happens. So I think that how we determine how we rule our planet determines what brings on our end. But there is an external force that comes. There's something else that comes on our Earth, because every story of the ancients of every world begins with a giant being. It always begins with another being coming and interacting with man. So it's inevitable that that's a part of the story that has to happen that brings us to the end. But I think we do have a choice. We can change it. And the thing that really makes me disturbed the most is every nation that fights them gets completely wiped out.
Right.
And
do you think that we could be the one that survives?
Well, to be honest with you, and I'm going to be as honest as I can, I think we're probably the worst of all the civilizations. We're the slowest, and we don't catch on very quick, and we're stuck in our ways, and we don't listen. And the reason that I'm saying this is because ice core samples, you're familiar with ice core samples?
Yep.
Ice core samples tell us what the environment of the world was like. And it tells us what the world was like going back even 800,000 years. But here's what the ice cores is showing us. With all the civilizations of Earth that came on this Earth, there's a difference between them and us. The ice core shows when human beings come on, of course we're coming out of Ice Age, the Earth is cold, it gets warm, it gets hot, and then it goes back to cold again. Cold, warm, hot. Then it goes, cold, cool, warm, hot. And then it drops down again. Cold, cool, warm, hot. And every civilization that came before us, that's the meter. Cold, cool, warm, hot. And then it gets to us. When we come on the earth, everything changes. Cold, cool, warm, hot. And then us. Cold, cool, warm, hot. Hotter, 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 hotter. We're doing something different from all the other Earths because we're raising the temperature higher than they've ever done. So it only tends to lead us to one conclusion. If you look back, and you can Google this if you want, the Earth has never been this hot for more than 56 million years. So what we are doing is changing everything, and we're the only civilization that's doing it.
What's the message that we need to leave behind, right? what do we, you know what I mean? We've got our clues. We're collecting what the ancients have left for us in past civilizations. what is it that we need to, what's the message we need to leave for the future?
We need to do the same thing they did, because as many clues as they're leaving us, we don't listen. Apparently the others that came before us, they did, because the ice core sample shows a steady stream of life and death of the Earth. We're the ones that's at hotter. So we're the ones that's not listening. So I think if we're going to do something for the next world, we need to figure out a creative way to leave a message, because remember, whatever happens in the end, they wipe all trace of anything that leaves a clue. And the only reason the cave paintings are still alive is because apparently they didn't catch on, which means these beings have to have a human counterpart in order to escape detection.
Oh, I just have to do this right now. Thank you for coming on tonight. Before I let you go, I wanted to say that now. Thank you so much. Great conversation. We will do a part 2. But the next film, when can we expect it, and what stage are you now?
We're just putting it together, doing research. The next film is The Black Knight, and while we were talking, I'm viewing it online with Pepsi. This one we're doing is a completely new thing. It's knowledge that changes everything, and I think once you see it, you'll say, okay, I get it now. It's a completely different perspective. We're working on that right now, and we should be going into production in about a month and a half or so, and then should have it done by November or December.
How do you fund? How do you do all of this?
Well, to be honest, it comes from a lot of donations, a lot of people that believe in the project, and for the first 4 of them, I did everything myself. And now that I'm at a point where I can't do everything myself, that's why I'm saying, I mean, if I could get representation, that's what I need right now to really take it to the level that I'd like to see it on, because I'd like to do something really big for the next invitations that are coming up, because it's going to require a lot of money to get it done.
Well, you do fantastic work, and I just love the message. And again, you're so far outside of the box that it just makes you scratch your head and go and wonder more. And that's what I appreciate with what you do, Damon. And I'm serious about that. I have such respect for you and what you do. Thank you so much.
Jimmy, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, man. I really do appreciate it.
Yep. And before we hit the break, how can everybody get a hold of you? What's the best way to do it?
The best way to get a hold of me is Facebook. Just go to Facebook, Damon T Berry, filmmaker. Or if you could like to leave a message, go to YouTube, YouTube/Damon T Berry Writer. And once you go to Damon T Berry Writer on YouTube, that's my channel. And you could also leave me messages there. And those are my best avenues. Not a Twitter kind of guy, but everything else I'm ready for.
Yeah, Twitter's going to be big. I'm just going to let you know. I don't know.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Thank you so much, Damon. Be safe out there. You're the best. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You got it. Damon T. Berry, everybody. Thank you, Damon.
All right, bye-bye.
The videos, the documentaries are extraordinary. I don't stand behind things too often. This is a game changer. Go and check it out. Damon T. Berry on YouTube. We have all the links up. They're on the website. Go into it. Thank you so much, Damon. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'm going to open up the phone lines next. 323-825-5045. I'll be right back.
Hey, what up, y'all? Sugar Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell
smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-618-WAVE. 888-618-WAVE or visit mydryhome.com. mydryhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back, Fade to Black. Whew, man, what a conversation. Damon T Berry. The documentaries, everybody, are incredible. And not only, what's so cool is the subjects and each point that is made, and I just are everything that we talk about here, and we investigate, and we tie, phone calls and guests, but he takes each one of those things, and of which are hundreds, not only ties them together, but takes them in another direction that is an eye-opener. I don't know. I don't have any other way to put it than that. The first time that I went through one of his documentaries, I had to sit back. I watched it again, and just had to sit back and go, wait a minute. Okay. Now, what's really cool is as you go and watch these documentaries, that hopefully you're not going to go, church stole this and talked about this on the show. I haven't done any of that. I've been holding off. I could have very easily have never had Damon on the show and used all of his documentaries and looked really cool. Like I had this fresh thing. Nah, I wouldn't do that. Got to bring Damon on. But that's what you're going to get from this. Yeah, it's really that good. All right, phone lines are open. 323-825-5045. If you were at the Awareness Life Expo, give me a call. Want to talk to you about that. It was a great weekend, and yeah, somebody just said, Jimmy, you sound tired, or like I just woke up. No, I haven't been to bed yet. There's a difference. But if you're at Awareness Life, please give me a call, 323-825-5045. What'd you think about Damon? His presentation, again, it's outside of the box. That was really interesting, what he said about the DNA. And Göbekli Tepe and it being an ark, and that there were animals at the pillars. That one caught me. That was good. All right, 323-825-5045, and I'll open up the phone lines now. Let me go through a couple of things. Number one, it's officially apocalypse now. Because Walmart is now selling deep fried Twinkies. Yes. Walmart started selling started selling the prepackaged deep fried Belly Buster frozen Hostess products on Thursday at some of its stores. Okay? Today is Monday, and it plans to roll them out nationwide by tomorrow. That's right. August 16th. And the I just can't even believe this. The deep fried Twinkies come in 2 flavors, by the way, the original golden and chocolate. There are 7 deep fried Twinkies in a box. Yeah. I know you think I'm making this up. It's really true. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yes?
DJ Ray Train.
Hey, DJ. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Who did you want to yap about?
I just want to yap, man. It was great hanging out with you all weekend. Did you have fun?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It's pretty cool, wasn't it? Now you, who is your favorite presenter?
The UFO panel was really good. That was, it's like some controversy going on there. So that was pretty hefty stuff. What else did I see? Because that Richard Dolan was involved in that one too, and he did his own separate thing. So it must have been your panel, because that was intense.
Yeah, the panel was a lot of fun, and we have it. I have the CDs of it, or the DVDs, I should say, of the panel and of the Fade to Black radio broadcast. So I'll ask Javier if it's okay if we post those up, or maybe parts of it. But yeah, I'm with you. Mm-hmm. The reason why I think the panel was really good is because everybody else enjoyed it and came up and said, "Wow." So I'm with you on that. It got really intense, and I think that which is rare for a panel, I think that there was real information there. I mean, all panels have real information, but what I mean is I think we took it in another direction. And it was really cool. So thank you for that. But you know what, Richard Dolan?
Yeah, and there's a good amount of speakers there.
Richard Dolan,
on the panel.
Richard Dolan's presentation was really good on government ops and the secrecy. I thought that was really, really good. But Ruben Uriarte's presentation on the Cisco Canyon stuff was really, really good. There you go. I mean, I didn't have a chance to go and sit through.
Oh, yeah, Richard did too.
Yeah. I didn't have a chance to go sit through.
He did 2 different ones.
Yep.
One was the false flag, and then the other one was the other, like, very serious stuff. That got pretty intense too.
Yeah.
Right there, the whole.
Yep.
How they're using esoteric stuff and whatnot, and controlling the narrative, and they're always going to keep doing that. And I kind of knew that, so I'm right on the level of what about, because they want control, and they won't stop. It's very it's almost infinitely instinctual or something. So, and that's freaky to think about. Like a creature is just so stuck in that mindset. Yeah,
you're right. Well, it was cool hanging out with the Fadernauts too, wasn't it? Everybody was there. It was a lot of fun.
Yep, very, very fresh and very chill.
Thank you so much, DJ. So you got home safe. It's all good in DJ world.
Yeah, I was so tired when I got back here, so I was passed out, and I just woke up around 8 when I started tuning in.
I'm jealous. I'm fully jealous. Okay.
And did he say something about U.S. bringing that Egyptian obelisk over here to, I don't know, I forgot. I think someone said New York, but it might have been the D.C. monument or something like that.
We didn't talk about that tonight, but somebody sent me, it was really funny. It was about a year ago. Somebody sent me a photo collection. I've got to go dig that up, a photo collection of all of the obelisks in New York City. And I had no idea, man. They're all over the place. And I just didn't know that. Washington is an easy one, and there are obelisks around Washington, D.C., but I had no idea there was that many in New York. I need to go back and collect that again. And whoever sent that to me, maybe you can resend it. But there you go. Thank you so much, DJ. Be safe, my brother.
All right, have a good night, Jimmy.
Yeah, you too, DJ. Man, a DJ at Awareness Life Expo was everywhere all the time doing the hang, and it was really great seeing him. So I wanted to say, so I had a friend of mine that I grew up with in Panama, Ricky Royo, and he sat next to me in drafting class for 2 or 3 years. And we were, really good friends growing up. He lives in San Francisco. And I just banged him a phone call, and he came down and hung with us for 2 straight days. And that was really, really cool. I hadn't seen him in 37 years. And Ricky, if you're listening, thank you for coming and hanging out. But what was great about Ricky was he took over one of the after parties that we had and asking questions. And it was so cool to have a friend of mine that, we're friends when we're, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. And as we grow up, he has the same questions today about the shadow government and false flags and ufology and consciousness and the paranormal and what it, all of that. And it blew my mind. And he ran around. It was like he was in Disneyland. Ricky, it was really great seeing you. But Ricky and DJ hung out quite a bit, too. So thank you for that. Now, where was I going next? Oh, I don't know if you guys know this, but the nightly show is coming to an abrupt end. And I mean really abrupt. Comedy Central's late-night talk show starring Larry Wilmore has been canceled. Not next month, not 2 months from now, not next week. Production of the show will end this Thursday. They pulled the plug. And when you're doing a TV show, the last thing you want is for them to come in because, you have a staff, you have camera people, production people, this, that, everything that is involved in that. And you just get the pink slip. You don't get a 2-week notice, man. They got a 2-day notice. And some felt, including me, that he had a chance to reach a wider audience once the correspondence dinner was over at the White House because he was hosting it. Well, he tanked, and that was that. The ratings, he was the lowest of all of the late-night talk shows, of which there are a lot. Nobody really heard of him before then. I mean, not at least on a grand scale, but if you're going to go and replace Colbert, you got to have your stuff ready. And I guess nobody really thought he was funny. So there you go. All right, let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Jimmy.
Yes.
This is Ricky Royo.
Ricky, hey. How you doing, man?
I started listening, and I listened to Damon T Berry, and I got some questions, and I heard you, little shout-out. I appreciate that. I really had a great time. I really felt like everybody there was at such a truthful level, which made everything so interesting to take the 2 days to listen to everybody and absorb all that information that was coming out of there. Very, very, very well done, my friend.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. But let me tell you what was funny for me, Ricky, is I thought you would come down and you and I would just hang out and wear everybody out with stories of you and I tearing up Panama, right? That's what I thought.
We did a good job with that.
Well, we did it. No, we did that a little bit, but this is what actually happened. I'm just going to tell the audience. I would turn around and I'm like, anybody seen Ricky? He's in that presentation, right? And I would go in, and you went to presentation after presentation after presentation, and you were a sponge.
Yeah,
I had no idea that there was that side of you. I just didn't know. And it's pretty cool to go and hang out with a bunch of like-minded people like that, and you want questions answered, and that's what happened for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the right people were there answering the questions. It was very good. Totally down with it. With the level of research that is done to give you these answers. In other words, nobody that was there was just creating or following some storyline. Everybody has done research and spent money and time and resources to have these answers, and that's what made it really special.
And you were also to hang out with all of the presenters too.
Yeah.
And now, who was your favorite? Who was your favorite? Who's your favorite?
There was two that really got me: the geopolitics with Richard Dolan.
Yep. And
the UFO PR, and that gentleman, I forget his name, but
Brett Luter. Yes.
Yeah,
that was a great presentation. Yes.
Yeah, those were my two favorites. The orbs were really good, as well as the crop deals.
Yeah, yes. Patty
so,
Greer.
Yeah, those are probably my favorite. But yeah, hanging out with you, meeting your lovely wife, meeting Vincent was really good. Meeting Sandy, very powerful human being. It was great, Jimmy. That was really well done.
And now
I got a question, Jimmy. If we can talk about Damon T Berry a little bit.
Yes, go ahead.
Right. Well, he talked about these ice something that can tell all these different periods that we went through. And he mentioned the ice age, then the cooler, then the warmer, then the hot, right? And then boom, we do it again, right? Another 4 phase, and then it happens again, right?
Right.
Did I follow that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. So the pyramids that were hidden, when did that happen? Did it happen in the phase that we're in right now? I would say phase 1, ice, phase 2, cool, phase 3, warm, phase 4, hot. When did the pyramids happen?
It would have been
those 4 phases, or the one before that?
I think that I'm going to answer for him, but I think that the general consensus, and certainly in the alternative group that we're part of alternative history, I think that we're now pretty solid at the cool. In other words, at the end of the last ice age, which is around 10,000 BC, right? So there, so we're going to go from, cold to the cool stage. And in that cool stage, Göbekli Tepe was built, and that we know, from hard carbon dating of the debris that was left there, that is somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 BC, possibly a little older. But that's certainly budding up to the end of the last modern ice age. So that would put that in the cool stage of the 4 stages.
Right.
So
following.
So now you're asking me, where are we on the back end of that, right? If it's cold, cool, warm, hot, right? Well, remember what he said there? He said that we're
hotter.
Right,
hotter.
right. Which is kind of frightening.
We're way past.
Yes.
All right. So when did the pyramids happen in that sequential order?
He's
During the ice age, the cool age, the warm age, or the first hot age?
yeah, between cool and warm.
Warm, got it.
Yes, because if we go back and look, which we can and we have, if we look at the Nile Valley and the way that the flooding has occurred there and where agriculture was at one point, I mean, it was beautiful, it was green, it was nice, and today it's all, sand, right?
Right.
So you can see how long it took for that to happen, which was about 2,000 years, up to year zero, up to 1 AD, the end of Cleopatra, which was 30 BC. So
30 BC.
Yeah, because by the time the Arabs had gone to Egypt, and certainly by the time Napoleon got there in 1800 or whatever year that was, right? Right there at the end of the 1700s, the Sphinx was already buried with sand. Right, so the green, lush part of Giza and the Nile Valley and that area around Cairo, now it was all sand and desert. So we have the modern evidence of that timetable. So where are we now? Well, if we're at the hotter part of it, wow, what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
So, yeah, so each phase looks like it's about 8,000 years, though, right? No. Yeah. Like from ice to cool took about 8,000 years.
Yes.
And from cool to warm, another 8.
Right.
So, no, we should be getting into the hot phase, the first hot phase.
Right. Except yes, that's right. That's right. Except our hot phase is hotter than any other hot phase before. Right.
Well, okay, now I understand.
Yeah, because right, because he said that the planet now is hotter than it has been in 56 million years. So
right.
you got to think of all those phases that we have gone through.
Right. We took on, right.
Yep.
Hey, shit. So we're just pushing the envelope.
And can we fix it? Right? Can we fix it? And that's what I was asking him, Can we be the one civilization that actually survives this run? It's kind of funny. His answer was, "Man, I don't know. We're pretty stupid." So
8,000 years, yeah.
Hey, Ricky, it was so great seeing you.
Yes, I see you. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ricky.
I love your show. And I'm a true listener, my friend.
Thank you, Ricky, and we'll see you in a little over a month down here in Southern California. I can't wait.
You got it. We'll be celebrating our birthdays.
I'm
trying to get Jerry Curtis, too, out here.
Oh.
His birthday's October 1st.
There you go. Oh, dude.
All right, man.
I'll talk to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, we're gonna get all the the Zonians together over at the house. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. Don't push yourself. It's Dino, and we're happy for the show tonight. What a different point of view. But I wanted to bring up two things that the main media is spewing out. Number one, the megastructure that they supposedly could explain away, it's back again. They've got more information, and the Dyson sphere type thing, they're saying they still can't explain it. And the other thing is the information about, anyhow, we'll talk about the Dyson sphere. There was one other thing that came out this week, too. That's amazing. It won't go away. They thought they could explain it away.
Well, they have to. They have to do this, Dino. This is, and I know I've kind of touched upon this before, but what they have to do is explain it away with a natural thing, comets or, something. They have to do that. The mistake that they made was that the astronomers and the scientists jumped on this alien structure narrative, right? And now they're stuck. Should have been the other way around. They should have let us say alien structure. That's what they should have done. But now they're stuck, right? And if it's comets, I don't know how long it would take for the comet trails and the interference and the debris and so forth to dissipate and open up a constant stream of light off of those suns. I don't know, or a consistent one that we would know it's a planet. I don't know. But for it to change again, they need to be really, really careful here.
Yeah. I mean, they say they've had this observation going on for like 20 or 30 years, and as our instruments get better, they're finding that it's fluctuating quickly, almost, by 20-30%, and they've never seen it before. The second item is the International Space Station and all the stuff about cutting the feed, and then I saw an article on Friday saying, well, we're not going to cut the feed, we're just reducing.
Right.
And now I read something today that said, oh, that's off, we're going to leave it on. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. So
it's interesting how they reversed themselves so quickly.
Well, because there was an uproar about it, certainly. And there's no reason to cut a feed. There's no expense there. They're not paying for electricity. They got solar panels.
Do you think we had an effect? Do you really think it was folks like us that have been saying this for a long time that we're finally getting large enough numbers that we're influencing NASA? You think so?
No, I do not. And I don't want to break your heart. Okay? No, I don't think that at all. I will say this. The scientific community, classrooms, people that enjoy science, that go and watch the feed, that's much larger than our community, and they probably got a lot of flack for that. Would they listen to us? Oh, come on, Dino. Now, did they know that we were speaking up about it? Sure. But, you got to think about all of the science classes in elementary schools, around the world that do, I'm sure that they got bombed by the masses, that they couldn't stop it. So we'll see.
Well, like I always remind people, it's our tax money and it's supposed to be our government. Be vigilant and don't let them do these things. We're paying for it.
Thank you so much, Dino. Behave.
Have a good night. Rest well.
You too. Okay. Now, also, the Olympics are going on right now, and people are watching it. And I tried to watch a little bit of it when I could over the weekend. But this whole Pentagon money shortage announcement thing that happened while everybody is watching the Olympics, I found that interesting too as well. And is it brilliant timing to do something like that? There'll be more on this tomorrow night. I am your host, Jimmy Church. This has been Fade to Black. Thank you, Damon T Berry. Do go and watch The Knowledge of Forever Time. Watch all of them. We'll be talking much more about this over the next couple of months. Just a brilliant mind. Thank you so much, Damon. Great conversation tonight. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee, Mark Dunbar, Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication, KGRA, The Planet. Thank you, Damon T. Berry. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.